one of the shortest times to throw in the NFL this past year. And it was this time last year, about 365 days ago, we had no idea what was next for the Denver Broncos. We had no idea.
Well, we had one. The quarterback was something that was going to happen. We just didn't know what quarterback.
Well, it just depends who you ask. I remember Mike and Mark in the morning did not want the Broncos to draft a quarterback. They wanted to continue to build the roster.
Mike and Mark, the same ones that
especially Mark, by the way,
defended him with the dead arm, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah, he became it was a really interesting sequence. Went from don't draft a quarterback to Mark acting like that was his stepson. Really interesting sequence. But yeah, no, it was this time last year, man, where it was like we had no idea what was next. And the Broncos were being made fun of for drafting Bo Nix. Made fun of. And that, by the way, fun continued into the regular season, right? Bo Nix was not really ready to play at the start of the year. He was the worst quarterback in the NFL weeks 1 through 4.
You know what, Zach? Good for Sean and Bo for just staying the course. And Bo, hearing all this noise from the start, he started the season off struggling, but kept going. Kept going, blocked out the noise. Sean probably got in his ear and said, hey, trust me. Trust me, son. I'm your new daddy now. Trust me. We're going to get through this. Bo continued to get better every single game. Now look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us. We have a franchise quarterback that we're all excited for, and now we have a chance to get back to the playoffs and even make the noise, win a game, try to get to the Super Bowl because of the players that we're picking up. So everybody should be on board now.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, look, if you're still I guess there's some people that want to see it again, and that's fair, though. That's fair of wanting to see, like, there's a lot of musicians that are able to put together a hit record and can never follow it up.
Hey, I tell you this. I want Nick Bonito to get paid, but I want to see it again. I want to see it for at least 5 or 6 games before Nick Bonito gets his contract. Why? Because prove to me you're going to be consistent. So that's just like with the Denver Broncos. Prove to us that you're going to win 9 or 10 games this year and get back to the playoffs. That's what everybody wants to see. They don't want a one-hit wonder. But I'm here to tell you guys how things are going for the Denver Broncos on paper, and with having Bo Nix and Sean, this is not going to be a one-hit wonder. They're going to get back to the postseason. That's the ultimate goal, and I think they have enough to do it and more.
Got to turn my mic on. I think they have enough to do it as well. I do. This roster has really, in the past year, I think impressed everyone. Like, I'm clicking on articles this morning. It was from The Athletic, who listed the rosters 1 through 32. We were doing this exact activity a year ago, and the Broncos were either 30, 31, or 32. And more oftentimes they were 32. I'm clicking on this article from The Athletic. They have the 11th best roster in the NFL, which I think is honestly fair. They're not in the Bills, Ravens, Eagles territory quite yet, but
not there yet.
That next tier, they're kind of floating right around there.
What did Devontae Adams say to PS2? You're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we're trending in the right direction.
Yes. So George Payton, Sean Payton talked earlier today, just a couple hours ago actually, and George was asked about having an exit plan if a player or players aren't there when you're picking. Here's what he said.
Just to follow up, like last year, you always want an exit plan. If your players isn't there or players aren't there, we had probably every time we took a player in the draft, we had an exit plan if our player wasn't there. And so, those talks, a week before, the week of, obviously they help, draft day because you've had those communications.
So an exit plan. And I wonder, at 20th overall, 1 week from today, how many players are a part of the plan? And
at 20, right?
At 20.
You're thinking just 20.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for right now for the first round. 1 week from today, how many players are a part of that plan at 20? And does an exit plan, if they have, let's say, because George said a few months ago, he said, hey, there's like 4 or 5 guys that we feel good about drafting at 20.
Yeah.
Let's just say those guys are Ashton Jeanty, and at the time he said it, Jeanty was being mocked by guys like Mel Kiper to the Broncos. So let's just say it's Ashton Jeanty, it's Omarion Hampton, it's the top D tackle, it's Tyler Warren, and it's Colston Loveland.
Yeah,
and I'm totally just making it up. If those guys are gone, which in recent mocks you're seeing them gone, do you have like a 6th guy who's maybe the second best D tackle? Or is the exit plan to trade out of that pick and move back?
I'm thinking it's like this, and I've always say George is calling it an exit plan, Zach. I'm calling it a plan A, B, and C. You have different scenarios that you're bringing up on the board. Say, hey, these are the 5 guys that we would love to draft. Now it's like, okay, we like them, but how many of them do we love? Maybe there's just 2 of them. And if those 2 are not there, are you willing to take that next guy at 20, or do we trade back for more picks? Are you okay with that? Or maybe it's like, hey, we know that we love this guy so much that we're willing that if someone like, let's just say Ashton Jeanty slips to 9, are we going to jump? Are we going to jump towards that and trade up to get him? Like, you have to have so many different scenarios, so many different plans, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I keep going back to last year when Michael Penix Jr. got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
That shook the whole entire NFL draft. And now you had teams that are like, okay, we may have to jump earlier. We may have to trade up earlier to get the guys that we really want. So you just have to go in with a plan knowing that your first plan is probably not going to work. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, it's okay. We have a plan B, C, and hell, maybe even a D.
Yeah, it doesn't sound crazy to me. It really doesn't, even in that first round. By the way, next Thursday, all right, you're going to be sitting there wondering where Travis and Shador are going to go, as well as who the Broncos are going to take with the 20th pick. Might as well join us, all right? 1 week from today, starting at 2 p.m. for our NFL draft party live from Sportsbook Bar and Grill here in the DTC, brought to you by Carrier, Colorado, the experts in home comfort. From 4 to 6 p.m., we're going to do a special roundtable hosted by myself featuring Phil, Brandon Stokely. All right. Then from 6 to 10 p.m. at night, it's going to be Cecil Lammy and John Davis will take you through the NFL draft. That's Thursday starting at 4, live from Sportsbook Bar and Grill DTC. We would love to see you guys come hang out and discuss all things draft. You know, going back to the start of the day, in our crosstalk conversation about Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
And I know this conversation has picked up steam here because Jeanty, went on the record and said the Broncos were among the 2 heaviest teams that he's talked to.
And it's 7 days before the draft. You're hearing all of this 7 days before the draft. Like, it's real. Guys, it's here. And as a player, like, you can't believe that it's almost here. It's like, damn, I got 7 more days, and I may hear my name called, which may change my life forever. So this is a fun time for the players, and it's a hell of a time for us fans.
There's no doubt about it. But, so you have Jeanty saying that Broncos have talked to him among the heaviest. You have Sean Payton's daughter has a podcast and says that Jeanty is the best fit for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Then you have the Jeanty letter. Did you guys talk about that yesterday?
No, we did not.
Okay, so I'm curious your thought here. Is we're a week out from the draft. Ashton Jeanty writes this letter in the Players Tribune to general managers, all right? And the entire letter, I'm not going to read the entire letter, but it was the closing message that has gone viral on social media. And he says, I've taken the long way. I'm done with that way. If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon. It's tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy they can't tackle. Thank you for your time, Ashton Jeanty. What did you make of the letter?
Very emotional. Like he heard something. Like his agent probably heard something that he didn't like. And he wanted to let everybody know, like, look, I'm tired of sitting back here holding my tongue. Like, I am the best running back in this draft. I am like Saquon Barkley, because you have someone like Phillip Lindsay saying that you're not Saquon Barkley, right? He's hearing people say this. Maybe his agent is talking to some of these general managers and they're saying the exact same thing. Maybe he's thinking, Ashton Jeanty's thinking, I'm going 6, and now the agent's saying, hey, you may fall to like 8 or 9. Who knows? And so now he's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to voice my opinion that whoever gets me is getting a running back that's ready to play and a running back that wants to win a Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley gets with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know that Eagles team was loaded.
Yeah.
But Saquon Barkley was that missing piece. And because of the offensive line, because of the receiver, Saquon was able to just do his part, break the tackles. And so that's kind of what Ashton Jeanty is saying too, is like, whoever's getting me, we're going to the playoffs and we have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Denver Broncos, are you listening loud and clear? Pretty much.
Wow.
What did you take it as?
I'm not gonna. I don't want to just hate on Ashton Jeanty.
Well, he's a great. He's gonna be the first running back off the board.
There's no question. So why write the letter? I just feel like it's unnecessary. You're a week out from the draft.
But you start hearing a lot more.
Why are you comparing yourself to Saquon Barkley? That's really bold of this young man. And obviously,
you don't like the confidence?
I'm a huge fan of Jeanty's. We were talking about Ashton Jeanty sooner than, we were talking about him first year on the station.
Yeah.
I mean, it was after his week 2 game against Oregon. We're like, guys, this kid, Boise State, watch him, pull him up. He's excellent. I just don't know why you have to say more than has already been said.
Exactly. You're going into an interview for a job, right? Are you going to pitch?
Which he's done all these interviews already, right?
But this is your final interview, right? Where it says, what do you want to say? What do you want to get off your chest, Zach? Mr. Bye, what do you like to get this job that you're at right now? You're a damn good driver. But what is going to put you over the top? What can you tell me that's going to put you over the top for this next guy that is just as good as you, supposedly?
I certainly would not be going to my program director before I got hired. Hey, just a heads up before you make this hire, I'm Colin Cowherd. But see, but like, what? Who the hell do you think you are?
But this is the thing. Somebody may think of it like that, and somebody else might say, "Oh, that's how confident you are." So I'm expecting the ratings to be sky high because that's how you're coming at me. Like, I'm hiring your ass because of this. Like, nobody is going to fight harder for you than you.
Yeah.
And when you start to
But he already did it on the field. He's already going to be the first running back taken. I was just like, is this necessary? You literally mentioned Saquon. Like, I'm about to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. It's just like, fella.
Well, to be fair, he just said Eagles too. It wasn't Saquon.
True.
He didn't say Saquon, I'm going for 2,000.
He said, I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. It's just like, it's like calling your shot. And it just, there's just
Sean calls his shot?
I was not expecting. Well, Sean's got pelts on the wall. Ashton doesn't.
How do you get pelts on the wall? Somebody has to give you that opportunity,
by
right?
going to do it.
Okay.
By going to do it.
Call it. You know what? I'm a big believer. Like, hell, if I go out there and I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna whoop that ass, now I have to. Now I have to go and do it. Now it's forcing me to say, hey, I talked a big game.
So you're speaking into it.
You have to.
You're manifesting it.
You have to. Come on, Zach.
All right.
Come on. Envision it.
That's cool.
Close those eyes.
That's cool. I look. Ashton Jeanty's great. I didn't need a letter because honestly, you know what it sounds? It sounds kind of desperate.
Well, why? He's gonna be taking in top 10.
So why write a letter? Why are you trying to plead and convince people to draft you? Like
because you're a kid and you're emotional.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You're emotional. You're hearing a lot of talks about how people don't think that you're gonna be who you think you are.
Who's saying that? Everyone has said this guy's awesome. This guy's great. He's going to be the first running back taken.
All I'll say is this. There's a lot of things being said. Zach, when I was getting ready for the draft, I knew I was like a 5th, 6th, 7th round. We're talking to the Falcons a couple days before the draft because my agent wanted to kind of gauge like where I was going to go.
Sure.
And the Falcons said, look, man, we're not going to take a running back. Like, we have a different plan. Well, then that pick comes up in the 5th round, and they take Ito Smith. So, like, people are talking 24/7. What I'm trying to say is people are always talking. Somebody is saying something like, hey, like, I like Jeanty, but the guy across from me doesn't like Jeanty. Like, for example, for me, the Baltimore Ravens came calling, hey, it was one of the scouts, hey, dude, I really love you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying so hard to talk them into getting you, and this other guy, this other scout is going against me on you. And then they end up taking the tight end. So, you like, people are always telling you what's really going on. And maybe something happened where he's like, man, I'm mad, and now I have to put this out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's wrong or right, but you call your shot, you better be in that Super Bowl.
It was just interesting. Like, I don't think I've seen that. You know what? It reminded me of Johnny Manziel before he got drafted, texting the Browns GM. He's like, let's go wreck the league. He's like, I'm going to go wreck the league with you. It's like, okay, like, all right, get you fired up a little bit, but I don't know. This is unusual. That was unusual for me to see an open letter to GMs.
Just not your taste, huh?
Interesting. Not really, because guess what? You want a team that loves you, not someone who needs to be convinced to draft you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like is a general manager going to read this and be like, you want to know what? I wasn't really in on Ashton, but this letter, man. Let's
Well, he's
let's
just
go
warning
get him.
everybody. Don't make that mistake. Don't pass up on me.
Yeah.
Don't pass up on me.
Yeah. All right, here's a little bit more. Speaking of conversations, here's George Payton this afternoon talking about conversations leading up to next Thursday.
We've made calls, this week you make a lot of calls, and then next week, the more serious calls, hey, if this player's here, we want to move up or what have you. So, I've talked to most every GM in the NFL, kind of set the table, set the plan. Hey, if your player's here, when you move up, what's the range? And so you start talking parameters. I would say it gets more serious next week, and then really draft day. Sometimes maybe you haven't heard from a team, and someone's just, they really want to come up and they're aggressive. Their players there, and so I would say, this week, next, and then draft day, all three.
So they're like laying the groundwork here this week.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, what are the parameters if we wanted to do business with you? Just what's a general framework?
But what's interesting about that is you have to have connections with the guys you're talking to.
Totally.
Other general managers, right?
Totally.
This is where George comes to play.
Yes, I agree.
He has a great connection with not just the Denver Broncos, but a lot of people out there that respect him.
This is a good
and
take,
you can
Phil,
have,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Zach, you can have a conversation and say, hey, look, you don't tell me who you're having to pick, but if there's a guy that you want and you want to jump over us, talk to me. Let's get this done. We all want a certain guy, and your guy might not be mine. But I guarantee you if it was Sean that would call and say, hey, man, what's going on? What are you thinking? They're not going to tell Sean. This is why you need that general manager. This is why you need George. George has more, holds more weight than people think. He's very smart and very well connected. So it's going to be exciting to see what they truly do.
He is a relationship guy.
Yes.
He is a consensus builder type of guy. He is not a lone wolf. And I believe that characteristic about George Payton is why he is still the Broncos general manager. Because George Payton, based on merit, okay, hiring of coaches, trading for quarterbacks, mega contracts that have gone awry.
Yeah, has not done good with that.
Russell Wilson, Randy Gregory, etc. There was enough there to fire him. But you had a new owner in the fold, a new owner who is calculated and patient. And I believe that just the way that Greg Penner, when he's talking about building a new stadium, he's like, I want to go around the league and see all the stadiums. I want to even go to NBA arenas. What am I dealing with? The type of guy who does that, I think, is the same type of guy that calls around the league and is like, who am I dealing with George Payton?
Does his due diligence, right? His homework on a person before making that judgment on him.
Yes. And because George is so connected, because George has those relationships where 31 other GMs are willing to pick up the phone, I think that's part of the reason why he's actually still here, because as Greg Penner, and I'm theorizing this and speculating, that as Greg Penner did his homework on George, not a lot of people have bad things to say about George, and that's not always the case with these guys.
There is not a lot of bad out there for George. Literally, when George was the general manager, when he first stepped foot in that building, you heard great things about George and how he connects with his players, how he connects around the league, how he always has a number for you if you need help. Whether he cuts you, he said that he would help you out and find that special place for you. Talk to the general manager, talk to scouts to see if you would be a great fit. He is that guy that you want in your corner. He knows a lot of people. In the draft, you have to be able to sweet talk some people sometimes.
Sure.
And you don't always want to lie to them. George is not going to lie to you because that's how you lose trust.
Sure.
And so you need that during the draft so that you can get the players that you want, but also they can still get theirs. Whatever other team is out there that wants theirs, they can still get theirs as long as we get ours.
Yeah.
George is going to do a great job this draft. I think he's going to be well prepared with Sean.
Well,
what's wrong?
No. I'm going to repeat what I've said here through the months. George doesn't not have a lot left here in Denver of things that are his. The one thing that George has balanced out the rest of his resume here in Denver with the negative has been the draft. All right? And I know Sean
in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the first two picks are Sean. I don't think it's George.
Well, no.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And I was just about to say, we know Sean is truly the one in charge. So if Sean wants a guy, he's going to get the guy he wants, all right? And George's opinion is secondary. But at a certain point, I do believe that people who are wise, truly in life, people who are wise readily admit that they don't have all the answers. They lean on other people who they respect, that they admire, other people that they know have put in the work.
So that's why you lean on me so much, huh, Zach?
So much.
Damn, I'm good.
Just like leaning Tower of Pisa on Phil 2 to 6 every day. But it's like there is wisdom in sometimes just taking a step back, right? Like it's like 2 days ago when you're going off about CU and the retired numbers. There's not a big reason for me to get too involved, so I will take a lay out and let you. This is your floor here.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, I believe it would be best for he and the Broncos and again, I know he's going to have opinions on stuff, okay? I understand that.
Why are you trying to sugarcoat it? Just be real. You want him to back off.
Stay out of George Payton's way. He has a proven track record here in Denver of getting the draft right, all right?
But you know it's so hard when you're in the trenches.
Of course.
You know it's so hard when you're the head coach that truly has all say. Like, literally, George may want this pick, but he's going to have to, Sean will have to sign off on George.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And I know that you're telling him to back off, but that's hard to do.
No, and look, I'm playing it up a little bit when I'm saying stay out of the way. Sean's going to be involved in every single pick, but you need to understand that this is this guy's expertise. He became a general manager not because he's great at trades, not because he's great at hiring a coach in Nathaniel Hackett. You have to trade a first-round pick to get Sean here, right? But he has shown a propensity to, more often times than not, really get the draft right. And so I would say for Sean, not to jerk the wheel away from George Payton when he's got one hand on it. Like, be wise and acknowledge this is his strength. This is his strength.
Well, maybe you have to kind of say it in a nicer way for Sean. Mr. Sean Payton, can you please stay out of the way? He might look at that as a threat now, and now he's going to wake up early in the morning at 3 o'clock and say, hey, let's move up.
Like, again, George Payton's moves by his actions have grown on me. And I just want to see it continue. That's all. So, and that may involve doing something that Sean doesn't want to do, which could be trading back. You know, George Payton said a couple weeks ago at the owners' meetings, he goes, you know, I don't even bring up trading back until the day of the draft. And if we do it, he's like, I'll bring Sean a cake. But that may be what's best here in George's mind.
What's best for who, though? Best for the team or best
for the Broncos?
Best for the George. Because in George's head, he has to keep his job.
Yeah.
And you've said it multiple times. A general manager is always going to want more picks. What's best for Sean is the now.
Yes.
You know, and for Sean, it's like, look, I have one guy in mind, and I'm going to get him. I know that maybe trading back is better, but in my head, we're here. We're close. And this man right here is all I want.
Right. And I'm thinking of Ashton Jeanty.
So you're nervous that
yes,
Sean is going to go.
Yes.
Well, you shouldn't be, because if Sean does that and we pick up Ashton Jeanty, we should be happy because Sean truly believes that he is the next Saquon Barkley. He is that next Ezekiel Elliott. That's our missing piece. I'm with you. I'm okay with staying at 20 or trading back. But if Sean sees something that we don't, just like Sean saw something in Bo Nix that a lot of people didn't, then we got to kind of sit back and back. We need to back up and let Sean do his picking for the first 2 rounds. How about that?
The idea of trading up for a running back, especially inside the top 10.
Zach, we need a running back.
I understand. And you just happen to be picking at 20 in a historically deep class. Like this idea
supposedly.
No, I understand. Because there's going to be misses.
Always is.
Like there's going to be a Henry Ruggs in this class at a running back position, and then there's going to be the 3rd or 4th back that's picked that turns into Justin Jefferson. Someone's going to turn into CeeDee Lamb.
You mean to tell me that you're going to be upset if they trade
No, I won't, because at that point I'm on the roller coaster and I will be excited and, you know, hey, here we go, we're off to the races.
Yeah.
But if you are trading inside the top 10 when you're picking at 20 in a historically deep class of running backs for a running back, that would be a Sean Payton move. That ain't a George Payton move.
But guess what?
That ain't a George Payton move.
But didn't you tell me earlier that, hey, like Sean has earned the right to do that because he has the backing for it? He has won a Super Bowl because of doing something like that, picking Reggie Bush in the 1st round. Reggie helped him win a Super Bowl now.
Yeah. But he picked him 2nd overall, didn't he?
Second overall. Reggie Bush was in the league for 14 years.
How many with the Saints?
I want to say 8 or 9.
Okay. But he also traded like the 27th overall pick, next year's first-round pick, to move up for Marcus Davenport, a D tackle out of University of Texas San Antonio.
George has done some of the things too, where you move
he's
up.
He's traded multiple first-round picks to move up in the draft.
He didn't have to trade, but just because he's picking somewhere, right? We got Javonte Williams.
That I think was a good pick, but it didn't age well because his knee exploded. But like right out of the gate, no one was saying that wasn't a good pick.
Okay, but if Ashton Jeanty hits, we're not going to be saying, "Oh, why did Sean move up?" We're going to be saying that was a hell of a pick, and good job on Sean for not listening to George.
No, you're right. If Ashton Jeanty is Saquon Barkley, mixed with Emmitt Smith, and who was the latest?
LaDainian
Tomlinson. So if he's a hybrid strain of LT, the running back, Emmitt Smith, the all-time leader, and Saquon Barkley, the best in the game right now.
with hands, like wow.
Then yes. It just wouldn't be my preference for the information that we have right here, right now. Okay, fun conversation. You want to react?